Hey guys, it's Tyler with TCG Rewind. Today I wanted to do a video on Nordics because I actually have the original creator, Dave Trepanier, on my video today to talk about his original build. This is the build that I pulled and put on the website. It's his build, so I thought it'd be cool to kind of talk about the deck and, ask him some questions about himself as a player. One thing right out the gate that I noticed is he has topped with some crazy unique builds. We have Draco Six Samurai, Speedroid Lightsworn Phantom Knights, Thunders, and then Nordics, which I think overall a very unique player, and I think it's really cool to be able to showcase and get some of his thoughts like many years later on a deck like Nordic. So, David, how are you doing today?
Doing great, and just want to point out it's not just Thunder, because people are going to assume it's the Thunder Dragon. He means Thunder family.
Yes, true. It was Thunder Family. I should specify that. I checked all those lists out. They were pretty spicy. So like, as a player, like, do you just kind of find yourself being someone who kind of like likes to explore like more off meta things or even a bit more rogue strategies?
Yes and no, because I don't do it just to be eccentric. It just so happens, okay, this seems interesting. How do I make this the best that I can do? And eventually, okay, well, it seems to be working good enough. I'll take it to a regional. Oh, wait, I thought, okay, great.
Yeah, I mean that could be how it goes. I find like, I mean, in all honesty, like as a player, like if I'm going to a YCS or like a bigger event, I typically will play something that I think is a bit safer, even if it's like a bit less innovative, right? Just because you want that generic like safety. But in reality, like sometimes taking like strategies that people don't understand, like especially like in the case of Nordics, I know that like if you don't know how to play against Nordics will just blow you out. Like this deck is really, really scary in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing versus someone who doesn't know what it's doing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so one of the questions I wanted to ask is this deck was featured in History of Jank, and I wanted to see if you felt like after playing the deck, if you felt like topping with it or like the deck itself is like jank, like it was kind of like a weird tournament, maybe you kind of lucked your way through, or do you feel like it's like a genuine strong deck of the format? Because like my take on it is I put it tier 1 on my tier list. I think it's very powerful, and especially I really like the build that you created, but I wanted to see like how you felt, if you feel that it actually deserves that like title of like this is a tier 1 deck, or if you think it's a little more janky than like on the, I guess on the jankier side.
I do think it's a pretty strong deck. Like back then, me and my friend we were playing the deck like card for card, and we were tearing up locals. Like we went three locals straight without losing any match except against ourselves. So the deck was very very strong, and what made it not get popular is just like I think I fell just short, like with that top 32 to just give it a spark to get some excitement about the deck. I think if I got like top 16 or above, maybe would have caught on and people would have actually like put more effort into it. Like it's when the hive mind starts coming together that people start
Yeah.
exploring decks more. And definitely back then it was way less intense than it's now. So even
Mm-hmm.
when a deck drops, like you won't get an actual player base going around it.
Yeah, and this is something I said about 2011 format and a lot of some of those older formats is I feel like there were a lot of cases where players would top with unique decks like such as yours, and they would just really fly under the radar because I like there was like this is like right on the cusp of like smartphones coming out. Not everyone had one, and like internet coverage was like really janky. There weren't a lot of like YouTube videos on like, and like like YouTube deck profiles were just barely coming into like the scene, which also meant that I felt like decks like this would just kind of like fly super hard under the radar. Like people would kind of mostly focus on like the decks that like won the event, like which is why so many people bandwagon Tengu plants as a deck. Like I think people like really fell into that deck because like Billy Break won with it like two YCSs in a row, and then everyone's like, oh, this is just far and away the best deck. But in reality, I think the format was really oversaturated with those decks. And that's because people didn't tend to branch off and look into the other things that were topping, just because they realistically a lot of them didn't see it, right? Like I don't even remember hearing about this deck topping until I actually did all my thorough research on the 2011 format. So, um, it is really interesting that not a lot of people really experimented with it, given like its raw strength.
Yeah, I think like what you're saying about, let's say, Tengu plants. It's not even about that Tengu plants won both those YCSs. Billy Break won those two YCSs, and
True.
he happened playing Tengu plants. Because
Yeah.
looking back, I don't think Tengu plant was the best deck for that
Yeah,
format.
I agree. Yeah, well, and I mean, I don't know if you ever played against Billy. I got the pleasure of playing against him in like I think a couple events. And honestly, he was a phenomenal player. Like that guy is easily just like one of the goated players of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, he topped just about every format. So yeah, I do agree. Like, and especially this format, I think this format is very skillful. Like probably one of the more skillful formats the game ever saw. And I like to me, it's no surprise that a player like Billy would win multiple YCSs just because of how much like raw skill is involved in the gameplay. And I think back then, like players were much worse for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Myself included.
Yeah.
Like, I did play against Billy, but he was playing Domain Monarch at that point, so
Mhm.
I didn't get to see let's say the full potential of the player.
Yeah.
Uh, but I did play against him and lost.
Yeah. Okay, so and then I guess another question I wanted to bring up or that I thought about was so like the way I discovered you, not everyone's going to know this, is you commented on my reaction video to Simo playing Nordics, right? So
Yeah,
in that video I make a lot of takes, you know, talking about like the strength of the deck, even the lines of play, how to properly use some of the cards. But all of those were just my, I guess, assumptions based on like practicing and trying the deck myself. So I wanted to know if there are any takes that I made on like within that video on the deck, or even like how to play it, the lines of play that maybe you didn't agree with, or that you felt were like, you know, I interpreted incorrectly. Like I just wanted to know if like do I got the idea right in my head on how this deck should be played.
you were 100% right. I was screaming at the exact same times that you did when I was watching that video. Like, you're probably the first person I've actually talked about that does get a grasp of, oh, I know what this deck should be doing.
Yeah.
Like say summoning black goats during your own turn. That is not the way to go to play
Yeah,
this
that
deck.
was so bad. Yeah, no, that was terrible. Another thing I wanted to like kind of see is like, do you agree with the concept of like, this deck? I don't know if you built it with this intention, but this deck kind of masks itself as Tengu plants, right? Like you by like summoning a tour guide into Sangan, like most people are just gonna freely swing into that, which is where your initial punish, like in a game one, is gonna come, and you're going to like potentially blow your opponent out. Like was that like one of your intentions with running cards like Tengu and Tour Guide, or was that just like, you know, they're just good cards at the time?
Uh, I'll be completely honest. I wasn't doing it to like mask myself as Tengu Plants at that point. Because coming into that first event, I didn't play at the YCS Columbus, the second one, I think, from that format. I played at YCS Toronto.
Yeah.
And at that point, the ban list was 1 week fresh, about one week fresh. We didn't know what we would face. Like, Tengu Plants was supposed to be a dead deck after
Right.
the last hits. And then it won the event. But we were having agents on our radar. And what's the best agent play you can do? Normal Summon Venus, get it to 2000 with Gachi, and swing. And guess what? If you swing with Venus, you lose. So,
Yeah. No, for sure. That's correct.
because Tengu Plant itself doesn't always attack on the first turn, but you can bet agents will do.
Yeah. No, that's completely fair. And then another question is like, I'm just looking at some of the ratios in the deck right now. I have it up here on the screen. I noticed you only ran one Effect Veiler, and I think that was like my only gripe with your build. I actually really like how for the most part, how it plays. I also low-key kind of think the White Goat is like kind of bad, but I noticed that like you were running one Effect Veiler, and I was just confused at that ratio, because normally you see like 2 or 3. You never really just see like a single Effect Veiler. So I wanted to know like, what was your reasoning for only running one?
It's a way to get defense with Sangan, basically. It's just a way to generate defense with Sangan.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's fair. So like for like Caius and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, if you don't need anything, because there's kind of a lot of monsters in this deck, and like looking back at it, there's probably a bit too many normal summons.
Hmm.
Like sometimes you do get clunky hands.
Yeah.
So when you already have all that you need as normal summons, you can use your Sangan to get to Effect Veiler. Like the main strength of the deck is that you get to do plays without committing your normal summon, and that's usually, let's say, in the case of this play, is going to be Torguide Sangan. They rush into Torguide, and that means you can Black Rose Dragon before committing to a normal summon.
Yeah.
So if you already have something, like you can use your Sangan to get Effect Veiler. If you don't have anything to summon, you use Sangan to get, let's say, another Torguide swing with Leviathan Dragon.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, and I guess this kind of leads into my next question is, I don't know if you can actually remember too far back into that event, but were there any like key matchups or memories you have from the event that you thought like were interesting? And like, are there any things you would change about the deck? Like now, like after your experience there, like would you change this build, or do you think this was the ideal way to play Nordics?
Okay. The main deck actually, I haven't given it that much consideration as what I would change. Maybe like move around. Maybe the super nimble mega hamsters were too much, or I'd have just, well, I don't know. Like, and maybe torrential tribute has anti-synergy with the deck.
Mhm.
But aside from that, the rest seems pretty fine. Maybe pot of duality. I mean, that ratio seems wrong now that I look at it with different eyes.
Mhm.
Like back then, I only had access to it. It did used to be a pretty expensive card.
Yeah.
The extra deck looks weird because there's these one-ofs like Terabyte, but I can say I summoned all 15 cards from my extra deck in that
Really?
event. Yeah, and I played 10 different decks during Swiss.
So like I actually like on my list, I don't know what I cut it for, but I did actually cut Terabyte from your list to like modify it, because I thought it was such a sus card. I was like, I've never seen that card be used to success. Like so like, do you actually think that card is worth running in this deck, like looking back now, or do you think like it is more optimal to cut it?
Like you could, it's kind of niche, but it had a specific job in like stealing Venuses and making like wyverns or Thors with it.
Okay.
With like, if you had a Sangan get destroyed, you could get another tour guide and the Black Goat, and then summon the tour guide. You now got 3 level 3s. Turn the goat to attack. You get the horse, and then the Let It Rip. You can Terabyte the monster, or a level 4 actually, and then
you can
like,
just synchro
you
with
have complexity to go into anything. There was a specific game where, and this one I can say that I was pretty lucky on this one. I did set Sangan. My opponent also on Venus. Use the effect. I used Effect Veiler. Attacks into Sangan. Summon the goat. Get tour guide. Normal tour guide. Switch the goat to attack. Get the horse. Use both tour guides and Black Goat. Get Terabyte. Steal the Venus. Summon Wyvern, summon BLS, and attack for game, and he did have Honest in his hand, so that was like the best scenario. But yeah, aside from like these, probably you could probably get away with playing something else. Like a second Wyvern or second Black Rose would probably be what I would be looking at.
Yeah, I think Wyvern is a card, like, after testing it, that I felt like it probably needs a higher ratio. That card just feels so good in this deck. Like, even just its, like, floating effect, where it can, like, bring itself back at the cost of life points, like, that's not even that bad, because if they have to constantly swing over it, then you just can drop goats off of it, which just feels good, too. So, like, it's a pretty unique thing. And then I guess like one last question I have before we can like get into some gameplay is so like you have like I've seen other players in our Tengu plant Discord like playing Nordics, and a lot of like the cards that they've decided to tech in were cards like Horn of the Phantom Beast and like even main decking Thunder King. I wanted to see what your thoughts on main decking cards like that in this deck are.
Well, Horror of the Phantom Beast is an interesting one. Like, it was something that I was considering back then. I was fresh of playing scraps for the entire previous format when the grenade format that we had before that.
Yeah.
So definitely was a card that I kind of enjoyed. But at the same time, you want your monsters to be destroyed. Like, the only monster you would legitimately want to have a horn attached to it is Reborn Tengu, because there's never a situation where normal summoning Gold Foxy with horn feels optimal.
Right.
So, like, I don't think it's worth it. As for Thunder King Ryo, I don't think it's a card that fits the main deck, because it will not be destroyed by battle most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, if something's going to threaten it, it's going to be a synchro monster, and you're going to use the effect anyway. So at that point, you're just like, it's good. Both side people are afraid. If they lost to the Black Goat, they are more afraid to attack. So Thunder King becomes super good because you put them in a situation where they're kind of forced to do bad plays. But I don't think it has its place in the main deck.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I just wanted to see, because, like, you know, we have a lot of people who are Nordic players in our Discord, and I I've kind of made some of those points to them, or like at least the idea that I think Thunder King has counter synergy in the main. But I was just curious what your take was as like the inventor of the deck. But yeah, I think what I'll do now is I'm gonna like real quick stream this deck, because like I said, I did modify the build a bit. So if you want to take a look here. Is there anything you want to change before I jump into gameplay?
Okay, so this looks similar to what I have. Yeah. See, seems all good. We can roll with that. I'm not sure in which scenario we're going to use Ancient Fairy Dragon, to be honest. Even Orient Dragon. Like, there's only one way to make a 6, and that's Gold Foxy plus Raikou. I guess you could do it with Mind Control, but then that's probably not going to be an issue. There's just one thing I want to address, because you talked earlier about the White Goat, which is not a fantastic card. But when you really want to go into Thor, which is not something that you always want to go, like, it's not that good of a card. I mean, it's good, but not that good.
Right.
Most of the time, you have better odds drawing off the horse to enable it. So that way you can use the Black Goat, switch it to attacks on the white, and then normal the horse, and then you get the full 10 levels.
Yeah.
That's the primary reason. More than his, like, it's more for that than for the hamster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's worth summoning off hamster at all. It's definitely like a blind set that you want your opponent to just like swing into. Because like off of hamster, your opponent's just going to play around it. It would be my guess. But yeah, okay, well, I think I will modify. We'll take out the Orient Dragon. I think that's probably the least likely. I'm a big fan of the card itself, but I do agree with the point that it's probably not going to be relevant. So we'll cut that and maybe add another Wyvern.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, quit staring at my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Did you know that only 36% of you watching are subscribed? Hit that subscribe button.
All right. Pick your poison. We got rock, paper, or scissors. You know, you tell me which one you believe in.
I am the paper master.
I agree. Oh, nice. You know, I usually opt for paper too. You know, I'm a big fan. So we're definitely going first.
Definitely.
Oh, we get the standard go-to hand. This hand's actually like pretty cracked. We even got the heavy. So I don't know about you, but I think like just normal the tour guide, get a Sangan, and then set heavy Glefnir.
Yeah, see, like, I don't even like in your reaction to Jank, like, you did say to set Storm in here. I'm not sure I want to be that adventurous, because like maybe we can just win next turn if they just attack recklessly.
Sure.
Like,
so you think it's better just set Glefnir tour guide and pass?
Yeah, I think we don't need to be that greedy, because this screams that we're going to Wyvern him next turn.
Yeah.
Like, and with just one back row, like, it baits MST a lot of the time. So
yeah. Okay, so yeah, we'll start with just the nice little tour guide. That's obviously the play we're going to be going for. We'll slam the Sangan, and then you just think it's a glyph near pass.
I do think so. I could be wrong though. I wasn't like I did have a tendency to when I tried to be fancy with my storm to just get punished for it. So
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, my logic is if they storm this, like if they storm the 2 back row, it's a 1-for-1, right? If they Randy MST, they're risking. But I'm down to hold. We can hold and see how he reacts to this. We'll just pass it to him. Okay, so we got the Rush Rhino. And in response to the attack, we will Glyph Mirror. So now we get to search. For the viewers at home, there's nothing they can do to stop this attack, which is why this is so broken. The tour guide dies, we take 1,000, and then we get to special summon. And he's just passing with no back row, which is kind of cracked, because we also have this mind control.
I think we got game. Like, yeah, it's a level 4. Do we? No, we actually don't.
Yeah, I don't think we have game. We need like another normal summon to have game. We're gonna definitely switch this to attack. That's play number 1. So we're gonna grab the horse for sure. We can't synchro with the Sangan, so we're pretty much locked into a level 7. Maybe is it optimal? It might just be best to just take his Rush Rhino and like synchro into Stardust or something.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, because like we can turn off the TG and then we don't have to worry about the like the effect later if we swing over. So yeah, we'll just do that. Make Stardust. I would overlay into Leviathan, but I'm kind of greedy. I like.
Yeah, we don't have the other monsters. So I'd like to keep the Sangan as well. Just put it in attack.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. We'll put it into attack and we'll start swinging into him. So we'll do 800. Do you think he's running Gores? I mean, it's TG, so
I mean, it's TG. Like, if it was not TG, there's a world you attack with Stardust Dragon before, so maybe he puts Gores with the token in attack mode to get to crash Sangan, maybe get something.
Yeah.
But like he's playing TG, so.
Yeah. It's probably. I mean, we could gamble it. We also have the warning, so we could just not gamble it.
Yeah, we like. There's no point in taking the risk.
Yeah, I agree. We can go main 2. So, I mean, at this point, we could just set 3. We could technically set 4 because we have Stardust to protect. So we could just like.
Yeah, we can set 4 because we're not going to activate our storm anyway. So.
Yeah. So we'll just throw down. We'll out back row the TG player. I think that sounds good. And then they mind control Heavy Storm and we just cry. He's viewing his extra deck. It's making me nervous. Although we do got that warning, so... Bro, he would just get so punished by his second glyph here. But that's fine. We'll take... Actually, do we want to warning that?
I think we do, actually.
Yeah, because, like...
We're cutting him off from his TG again.
His searches, and then we have MST in the end phase for his back row, so we'll just leave him open.
If we draw a monster, we kind of win here.
Yeah, we'll space the back row and we'll see. Okay, it's Skill Drain. That's a pretty good hit.
Okay, that's not the monster I wanted to draw.
Yeah. I mean, we can technically use this Raikou in the event that he does have Gores. I want to assume if he's setting Skill Drain, he doesn't have Gores, right? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So I think we'll just enter battle and we'll just attack. So we can.
Do you want to attack with the Black Goat? Like, just for 800, maybe you can switch it to defense.
Oh yeah,
like,
true.
So
Yeah, I
just
see what you're
100
saying.
probably not worth it.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. 1,000 and then 25. Yeah, I rarely consider the fact that you can just keep switching
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah. It usually doesn't survive. It doesn't say. It doesn't even change the clock. So
Yeah. So we'll just put this guy to defense, and then we'll set the Raiko. I mean, he can't Dark Hole, so we're kind of just chilling.
yep.
And honestly, even if he sets some back row here, we can just heavy. Like, if we lose Torrential and win the game, like, who cares?
Barbros.
Big Barbaros. I think that's fine. I should. Alright.
Sure.
The goat is gone. Alright. It's probably just heavy into Raiko for game.
Yep. It is.
So we'll just go ahead and do that. Nice. All right. Going to game 2. What do you think we should side in here? You know, we got all these spicy cards. Definitely Thunder King, especially going second. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I like to look at what I want to take out first.
Yeah.
Like definitely Effect Veiler.
Yeah.
I lost my match during Swiss at Toronto against TG because I did side out my Raiko when I was going first because I was like, he's going to attack into it and like I'm going to have to destroy TG. But definitely we're keeping it. Now, I've learned my lesson. We're keeping it.
Keep the Raiko in the matchup?
Yeah, we definitely keep the Raiko.
Mirror Force is probably a good card to take out as well. We could opt to to put in these debunks too. So like we might need a couple more cards. We can take out Trap Dust Shoot. We're going second.
Yeah, we can bring in MST.
Oh, true.
Like we didn't see any back rows, but definitely like there will be back rows.
Yeah, well, when we know he's running Skill Drain, so we need to max out on copies of MST here. Let's see. Yeah. Does that mean we want to maybe take out a Hamster because we're going second?
No, Hamster is actually pretty good against those, I think.
Okay. Maybe we might not have the room for the debunk, which is maybe fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine not have the debunk. I don't know even how good Dark Hole actually is against that deck.
Oh yeah, true. I mean, the only way I could see it be good is to deal with like a Horn of the Phantom Beast monster. Like in that way, it's still going to be like a 1-for-1, right? Because even if they get the search, that's the only case I could make for Dark Hole. But I'd also be down to cut it for debunk if you think that's better.
I don't think debunk's better. I do think I think Mirror Force would actually be better in Torrential. Like, because if you're torrentialing, you're going to be torrentialing just a TG. Because if you Mirror Force, you're at least going to make a certain monster survive. Maybe get a Horn.
That's fair. Well, that and like it plays around Horn. If you know they have a lower attack, you know they're swinging in.
Yeah.
You can just do that.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine.
This looks good. I'm down for it. Let's give it a go. See if we can get the 2-0. He said good luck game 2. I don't know if that's shade or if that's him being nice, you know, like he's like, I put my side cards in. Okay, I'm down for the MST. It's a little awkward though because we don't have another monster. We really need something.
Yeah, but it's TG. We're going to have time.
Yeah. My God. No Trap Dust Shoot. Huh. This is definitely an awkward hand, but I don't even know. Like, is it?
I think you said all like the 3 cards. You said MST, Lightneer, and Bottomless. Like probably won't blind MST something. Maybe you'll have to Lightneer into White Goat next turn if we don't get a monster.
We could actually use this to search the horse and then make, like, Mind Control make a rank 4 to turn off his Tengu. Because even if he
Maybe.
like warnings it, it's not even that big a deal, right?
Yeah, like I like sending the Gleipnir to hope it gets Typhoon or anything, but when you're going second, like that's good. So just commit all 3. He's not going to blind. Like, if we can hit a Rhino with Boundless, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think this is just the only play, right? We hold the Grey Goats in hand and just eat some damage.
Can you actually pronounce these monsters?
I don't even try. That's why I just say Grey Goat, White Goat. Like, all right, we'll take the 17. That's fine. So do you think we search an end phase here, or do you wait till draw? Yeah.
Because now we don't need to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think best play is probably just normal the tour guide, get Sangan, and then pass, right?
And then pass. Yeah, totally.
Let's declare. He might skill drain, but we have the MST.
Yeah, get skill. Oh, all right.
Ooh, we get judgmented.
Ugh.
That's pretty awkward. Okay. Tragic.
Yep.
Okay, so at this point,
we just pass.
Yeah, we just pass. Now the horseplay seems pretty okay.
Yeah, the horseplay seems very good.
Yeah, we'll see what we draw. We'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, at this point, it is a little unfortunate.
Yeah, and since he has skill drain, like Stardust Dragon could be very good, but it's going to flop the Tengu, so maybe we still go into Utopia.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna take the 700. Oops. Yeah, I don't think we're dropping any goats. We'll just...
No, because if there was a line to make Thor, like, maybe, but there's no level 3 on his fields.
Yeah. Well, and he's probably going to synchro here, would be my guess. Oh, wow, he just leaves it. Okay. Well,
Warning of all. Yeah.
I think this is the best play as we search that horse. Do you think Stardust is just better?
He's gonna have his Tengu float, but then again, Stardust has an effect on their skill drain, so that might be worth it. But we get punished if he has a horn.
If he has warning as well, we also get hard punished. So I think it's actually better to we're at least gonna guaranteed eliminate the Tengu if we just do the exceed play, even if it's less good.
Yeah.
So we'll just normal this. And see if he has a response. If he has a response, it could be doomed.
Yeah, well, as good as any player can be, when there's a floodgate.
Yeah.
You want to check how to pronounce the horse's name.
Simo was like Guldfaxe or whatever.
Guldfaxe, Tanknister, and Tangrisnir.
Alright, we'll overlay into the Utopia. Just go for biggest booty. Do we get bottom list? Okay, so now here's the question, right? He has skill drain, so he can't he can't go into Bryo or anything. It's going to out this, and that back row could very easily be a D prison. That's my read right now, which means if we attack, we kind of lose a huge tempo swing. So I almost think it's better to just set the warning and pass, and then look to make establish another board where we can kind of play around D prison but keep biggest monster. What do you think?
Yeah, it could definitely be a prison because if that was bottomless, he wouldn't have bottomless the horse. Maybe there's a reason he doesn't bottomless the Utopia. It could be a horn as well. If it's a horn, the right call is definitely the swing. Yeah. Because if he does get Rhino, we bottomless it, and then he's just a 35, so he loses.
I mean,
I think there's more chances this being a horn than being a.
a D prison.
Well, then again, he did attack a tour guide last turn with Tengu. He would have flipped it. So yeah, don't attack.
All right, we'll set the warning and we'll just pass it back to him. I think this is safest play, and we'll kind of just let him have the agency to like force a play instead of playing into his back row.
Yeah.
Oh god, but there's more back row.
Well, that's what he's going to draw all the times.
Oh, that's a terrible card.
Well, under skill drain it is, but
I wonder, is it maybe we just set a Tagnostier and try that way we can make a rank 3?
Yeah, we have to. It's not worth a full card right now. Like we're not going to resolve 2 this game, so might as well put it face down. Striker doesn't threaten it, and if he does draw something that, like he'd have to draw specifically Warwolf to punish us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll just let him like sit on this. I don't want to attack into 3 back row. It's too scary. All right, nice. Oh, Thunder King would be so nuts if we had access to. I'm tempted to. The only scary thing is if he has Torrential, which is so possible, we just lose.
Like maybe we do attack with Utopia now and then normal summon a Ryo. Like if he doesn't do anything, I don't know.
Yeah, we can't. We technically have the presence to gamble because, like, worst case, if we attack, we could just flip this Tagnostier and just use Grand Mold to make a Leviathan Dragon or something, right? Like, it still have board presence. It's less good, but yeah.
Like he's at 35, so he's gonna have to be forced to do something at some point.
Yeah. We'll have. Oh, nice. We just swing into it. Okay, so now he's probably looking. If he didn't de-prison, is there a world where? I mean, one of these is probably Torrential, is going to be my guess.
Yeah.
And then...
And, like, the first one's probably not a horn, but the others could.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's prison, and then he drew a horn, so then he lets Striker die so that he can get access to...
Rush Rhino.
Rush Rhino, yeah.
Which, like, we have...
Rush Rhino doesn't out Utopia on skill drain, so...
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll just go to end phase, see if he remembers his thing. Yeah, okay. I like to give him a chance. I like to let him know.
I'm actually terrible at end phase effects. Like, I hate these effects.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten better with time, but...
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm an X-Saber player, you know. I like X-Saber, so I don't really have the problem too much. I almost never miss it.
Yeah, I gotta remember your 6 Dark Soul effects in the end phase.
Yeah. Alright, I do feel like we're in, like, the scariest position ever. There also is a world where one of his back rows Dark Bribe, right? Because we haven't really seen a lot, and I just think it's weird that he didn't deal with Utopia.
If he Dark Bribes us, I mean, gets us closer to Storm or NSD. His Judgment's gone, so the only real out to Storm is going to be Starlight Road. Okay, so he definitely has a horn. We're warning that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we're warning. He's playing too fast, not giving us time to respond. Okay, wait, so no... Ooh. So he definitely has double horn, right? Like, unless he was gonna crash.
Well, he could crash. That wouldn't be that bad of a trade.
Sure. Alright, well, we'll just... I mean, you think we just attack, or do you want to, like, try to go for game? I think actually going for game's too risky. We have to just attack.
Just attack with Utopia.
Yeah. If we can set the Mirror Force and then play into his next attempt on Horn, and then it puts him in a really bad spot. So he's... Ooh, he took it. Nice. So that also means if we out this skill drain, our deck is live again. Good call on the Mirror Force. Keeping it in. I feel so safe.
I think we...
Yeah, I think we bottomless.
Yeah, and if he does have Dark Bribe, like...
Then we have Mirror Force.
Yeah, Mirror Force.
Oh, torrential, huh? Okay. I mean, honestly, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to have any monster. We can summon Ryo. There's at least a horn in there. There has to be.
Yeah.
So
Is the Thunder King game? Oh,
it is.
we got a 2-0 over TG.
Woo!
I want to know, was it double? It probably was double horn.
There's at least one.
Oh,
No,
Starlight.
horn and Starlight.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so I mean, actually, if we had seen another MST at all, we actually were totally fine there too. But
Yeah.
damn, like honestly, that like this kind of speaks to the strength of the deck, right? Like we were able to play like a whole game through skill drain, which is like honestly pretty impressive. Because like you would not think this deck could actually handle skill drain. So I think this is like a pretty good example of the strength of the deck. You know, we got a 2-0 victory. We got the like, and we played into like one of the strongest decks, if not the strongest deck of the format. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So that was really cool. That was a really good experience.
Yeah.
But yeah,
sorry. I think these games showcase something that's not usually seen from this deck. Is that the strength of having a level 4 tuner monster that you can use to actually summon level 8s. Like in the second game, you could summon Utopia, but in the first game, like just have Gold Foxy being able to synchro with, let's say, like in that case, it was his Warwolf, but being able to synchro with, let's say, Tengu. If they don't want to attack Tengu, you get into an 8 just by normal summoning your level 4, or even synchroning with your tour guide that they let survive, force Black Rose or anything. It's very strong, and no other deck in the format actually does that. At level 4 tuner, so.
Yeah, that's true. I was on like maybe Flamvel or something, but yeah, it is really cool. It's a really good feeling, but yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with how this went. It was a really nice showcase of the format. He says probably could have played that better. I wonder what. GG. That's the beauty of this format. You can always play a little better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Reflect on your mistakes and you learn. This is honestly like one of the best formats to like try to get good at the game, I think, or like learn to get better at the game, just because there's so much skill involved, so much reading, so much so much just like tense gameplay. But yeah, overall, Dave, thank you so much for joining me on this video. I really appreciate you shedding some insight on Nordics so we can spread to the world that this is not in fact a jank deck for 2011. This is in fact a very powerful meta deck. So I really appreciate you taking the time out here with me and like, you know, going over this deck with me. Do you have any like final shout outs or anything you want to give?
Well, not really, but I've had a blast being here. So thanks for having me.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything later on concerning the format, I'd be glad to try and help you with that. If you have another video coming out or something, if you want to discuss Nordic or any other decks, like I was playing pretty intensely back then, so it could probably help out.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, I actually do have an idea, and I'll bring it up to you at the end of this video, but we'll let the viewers wait for that one. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video on Nordics. Let me know in the comments what you think of Nordics as a deck, and if you maybe want to see more content with Dave involved, because I thought he was pretty knowledgeable. It was pretty fun to have him involved. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. But thanks so much for watching, and make sure you guys have a great time dueling today.